Tel Aviv.
All right, let's now bring in Alex Selsky, a former spokesperson at the Israeli Prime Minister's office and currently CEO of the World Forum of Russian-Speaking Jewry. Joining us, I should say, now live here on RT. Good to see you today. Thank you very much for coming on the programme. The first time the two sides are coming to the negotiations table in 3 years. Now we've got the announcement of new settlements. In the meantime, the chief Palestinian negotiator says it all undermines the peace process, forcing them to leave the talks table. Is this a case of bad timing or what, do you think?
First of all, hello, nice to be here with you again. But why don't you start your question with the fact that the peace talks begin from Israeli release of Palestinian prisoners, terrorists who killed, not policemen and not soldiers, victims, just citizens. And now we release them as a sign of a goodwill. Already, a few days after, already we see that Palestinians don't want to talk.
But yeah, but Alex, you call it a gesture of goodwill. You call it a gesture of goodwill because, as you say, and you are right about this Palestinian prisoner release, 100 of them set to be released. The thing is, though, just in the past 24 hours, the Israeli media suggested that the release of 100 Palestinian prisoners should guarantee that the Israeli cabinet should then get approval for the development of 1,200 new settlement homes. Is that some sort of perverted game of poker with unrealistic odds?
No. Excuse me. You want us to give you a sign of a gesture of a goodwill of releasing prisoners and then again freezing the settlements? We already freezed building settlements. In 2010, I remind you, what we got? We got the unilateral steps of the Palestinian Authority going to the United Nations. I'll remind you something else. In 2005, we gave another gesture, a very big gesture of a goodwill, and we left Gaza. Everybody said we should leave Gaza. We did that. What we got thousands of rockets on our schools. And you know what? I'll remind you that we also, in Camp David in 2000, gave Palestinians almost all the land they wanted in the Palestinian Authority to build a Palestinian state. What we got? Violence and intifada. So again,
Alex, you do raise some good points, but I do say, Alex, you say thousands and thousands and thousands of rockets. Alex, let's not exaggerate here. I know you don't like me here on RT because you and I have talked in the past, and you made that very, very clear indeed. But how are you supposed to move forward, though, when Israel says, Netanyahu recently said that, quote, no one can stop us building what we want where we want? How is that going to move the peace process forward?
Two things. First of all, nobody will stop us building in Jerusalem and around Jerusalem. It's our historic land. Second, I'll remind you that this decision is not born yesterday. It is a reaction of the Israeli government to the unilateral steps of the Palestinian Authority breaking the Oslo Accords, I'll remind you, to the UN. And now you claim, instead of going to the Palestinians and saying to them to stop breaking Oslo Accords, you come to us and you say that we should again freeze and again release and again give and give and give without getting security. We want security and we will build. And we want to negotiate on all the issues without
Alex, I'm very glad you want to negotiate on all the conditions. I'm very glad you do. But the last time you and I spoke, you called me a mouthpiece for the Palestinians. You said I was anti-Israeli. And yet, in the past 48 hours, the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said, while visiting Colombia, that the U.S. views all of the settlements as illegitimate. But then I suppose, Alex, that the Israelis need somewhere to live.
I'll tell you that I think that, as a CEO of the World Forum of Russian-Speaking Jewry, representing millions of Russian-speaking Jews all over the world living in the United States and Russia and Israel and Europe, and we call upon the US and Russia, stop stop the pressure on Israel and combine the effort against the terror.
But what pressure is Washington putting on Israel? What pressure is Washington putting on Israel with a huge Jewish lobby, the billions in New York and Washington, D.C., and yet you really think that Washington is pressuring Israel? We all know that Obama and Netanyahu don't like each other, don't we, Alex?
No, it's not about liking each other, it's about interests. And I'll tell you that what I see is that again and again we give gestures and we don't get back security and negotiations. We give the Palestinian prisoners, we give them Gaza, we give them almost in 99, I forgot Olmert's talks that almost gave them everything, and again we get violence, we get rockets.
But you're not always building on Israeli land, you're building on Palestinian land, Alex. Now, look, you've got a job to do, I've got a job to do. I mean, let's be honest, shall we? This whole peace process goes back beyond the 1970s, nearly half a century now. Clinton tried to move it forward, even George W. Bush tried. Obama supports the creation of a Palestinian state, but in nearly half a century, nothing truly has been done. Alex, go on. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Let's go to history. In 48, we said yes to the Palestinian state. They said no. In 93, we said yes, and we got violence. In 2005 and in 2000, and every time we said that we want the Palestinian state, and we give gestures and we give gestures, and now you say that we are the barrier before peace. We give everything, believe me, that we can give without damaging our security, because our security is the highest priority for the Jewish people, for the state of Israel, and for the Jews around the world, because without strong state of Israel and without security in Israel, Jews cannot be secure in any place in the world, and we know what happened to Jews.
Well, if you're going to say that Jews can't be secure in any part of the world, I mean, Alex, I love the history lesson. I mean, it's quality stuff. Well, you've done your homework, and I'm grateful for that. But when Netanyahu recently says that no one can stop us building what we want, where we want, guess what? That's a dead end, and it's not going to go any further. Alex Selsky, a former spokesperson in the Prime Minister's office, I'm glad to see you've got a new job now, currently the CEO of the World Forum of Russian-Speaking Jewry. Thanks for joining us here on RT today. I dare say I'll see you again soon.
Thank you.